Nintendo Pulse, episode number 30. This episode of the Nintendo Pulse podcast is brought to you by GoToMeeting with HD Faces. All right, everybody, and welcome to the Nintendo Pulse pod. You're lucky I didn't have you on video there. I had the cover art up. I wish I would have caught that on video. There's always
I'm lucky, or you're lucky that.
Well, unless you wanted that posted on YouTube, I guess you're lucky. The listeners would have been, and the viewers would have been lucky if I would have caught it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do that. All right, guys, welcome to Nintendo Pulse, episode number 30. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, Edgar first. Edgar,
what's up?
How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. I am testing a lot of gear out. For the last week, I've been testing gear out for E3. I'm really stoked about this E3.
Nice.
Like this E3, things are finally coming together. I have an iPad 3, so I have the awesome camera, or a better camera.
Yeah.
Both Steve and I are going to have LTE connections while we're there.
Nice.
So we're going to be able to upload videos immediately.
Nice.
We have lav mics that we are now using to record podcasts. I don't know, and that's what I'm using now. I'm actually very happy about this. I have the retarded headphones, but I'm actually using a little lavalier mic, so if I move around, you still be able to hear me, and it is awesome.
Cool. What kind of lav is it?
It's just an Audio Technica.
Nice.
It's a cheapie from Amazon. If you guys are...
Yeah, they're like the $30 ones, right?
Yeah, like they are the go-to cheap mic.
I'm going to have to get you to buy me a couple and ship them to me because they won't ship them to Canada from Amazon.com. I tried to order a couple of them.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Cool. Yeah, I'm getting some equipment here too. I got a new HD video camera that I'm recording with, which looks really good. Unfortunately, I need some more light in the room that I'm in, so I'm really blown out because I have to put enough lights on so it doesn't get all choppy. But yeah, that's working out really good. Got a new mixer coming soon, and getting some other equipment as well. So yeah, it looks like we're stocking up on the equipment.
What kind of HD camera did you get?
Sorry?
What kind of HD camera did you get?
It's a Microsoft LifeCam
Studio. Oh, yeah.
The 1080p USB one.
You were asking on Twitter about the Logitech one, right?
Yeah.
And what answers did you get?
I got no answers. I got 3 people that said, I'm going to try it out, and then no one got back to me.
Right. Yeah, because I was looking at the step down because I knew that was OS X compatible. Oh, actually, I have an update for you. That camera will work. It's just some of the fancy features like, like the stupid face
recognition.
changing.
Oh, yeah, that garbage that no one would use unless you're
12. That's the stuff that won't work. But the camera itself works great from what I understand.
The reason why I wanted that one is because it has built-in H.264 encoding, so it doesn't load it on your processor.
Yeah, but see, I don't know if that part works either. They didn't comment on that. They said the camera works.
I'll have to pick one up and try it out.
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
Apparently, we're doing a Studio Tech podcast right now, talking about all of our studio.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, yeah, that's the other thing that I did since last time I recorded is I'm in a new redone office with like different locations, stuff behind me. It's not a big mess like it was before. So yeah, changing a lot of stuff here too. It's been a lot of fun rearranging my studio.
Cool.
But that's nothing to do with Nintendo. So what do you say we get on with the rest of the show?
Let's get into it.
All right, man. Well, Edgar, what you been playing?
I can't get over Hunters 2. That game is awesome.
That is really good.
Hunters 2, Dance Central 2. I've been playing this week because I went to NEB. It's been a lot of iPad time.
Right.
It's NEB is the National Association of Broadcasters in the U.S. It's where all the broadcasters, producers, content makers, blah blah blah. Everyone goes to find out the new tech. It's kind of like what CES is to consumers, NAB is to broadcasters and the professional market.
Yeah, it's like an E3 for gearheads, like camera gearheads.
Yeah, exactly. So last week, and since I've just been exhausted just because I drove up, drove down, still went to work and had a couple days in Vegas.
Right.
So I had a lot of iPad time. when I was in my hotel room trying to go to sleep after being hopped up on caffeine to make the drive there right after work. Uh,
That's safe.
yeah, well, it was right after work. It was like 9:30, and I was like, I gotta start driving. It's 9 p.m. I gotta get there.
Hmm.
So I didn't get there till like 1:30 in the morning, and I'm a horrible driver at night. Like I fall asleep at the drop of a hat. Like my parents didn't do the best job with me because they would train us like as soon as we feel the engine running,
Right.
we pass out.
Right.
There was five of us. So whenever we would take a family trip, it's like go to sleep.
Shut up. Stop talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as soon as we hit the freeway, as soon as you feel the nice rumble of a 1986 Toyota Caravan,
nice
Previa, that's when you passed out.
Yeah.
So now whenever I'm in a car and it's dark, oh man, that's the perfect sleep time. So I'm horrible at falling asleep at the wheel. So I just downed a couple of those Java drinks,
right,
the Monster Javas, and I drove to NEB and I was exhausted. But yeah, a lot of iPad. So a lot of Hunters 2. And like I said, just playing with the iPad, getting the microphone into work. So I haven't had a lot of DS time lately, just street passing, not any actual gameplay. But yeah, what about yourself? What have you been playing?
Well, I picked up an iPad 3 on Thursday of last week.
Yeah, finally.
Oh man, I don't know how I lived without one. I mean, the actual device itself isn't much faster.
No.
Apps don't run any better.
Nope.
But the screen,
No.
it's the thing with the screen is I look at my computer now and it's just like, oh, it's so blurry. Like, what's wrong? Like, did someone smear Vaseline all over my screen?
It's like, no. It's like a play school laptop now.
Yeah, it is.
It's soft.
It might as well be grayscale, like 2-bit.
I'm going to donate it to a kindergarten because there's nothing I could do with this laptop anymore. It's worthless to me.
It's crazy. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of iPad 3 stuff. I've been checking out a lot of the past games that I played, but just playing them again in high resolution. And it's like playing like Infinity Blade 2 and checking it out on the new screen. It's just like, why do I need a PS3 now? Why do I need an Xbox? Like the graphics on it are as good as the consoles. Now it's all about the game. It's about a developer telling a story. So, Mario's are still going to be something I'll want to play. Doesn't matter what console it's on. Zelda's, Halo, but many other games, I mean, I'm probably going to have just as much fun playing it on an iPad just because the resolution is that much higher. It's just it's a phenomenal piece of hardware. But yeah, you can hear more about that on the Touch Gaming podcast because I talk a lot about the iPad 3. I've been playing a fair bit of DS, Kid Icarus multiplayer online stuff, getting in, playing a couple matches and getting out. There's a lot of people playing online, dude. This is kind of like the Halo for Nintendo crowd. There's a lot of people playing. There's a lot of like strategies that seem to be sort of winning. So you get a lot of people that are doing the similar things. You play some games that are really laggy. Other games are crystal clear. So I think this is a really good test for Nintendo and their Nintendo network. I think this is kind of setting the tone for what the Wii U is going to bring for multiplayer gaming. It's a lot of fun, dude.
Huh. Okay, fine. Let me see if it's on sale on Amazon.
Yeah.
Right now, if it is.
Yeah, pick it up. And besides that, doing some changes over at vgpodcast.com. I re-added in the forum. I was running what was I running before? PHPBB way back in the day, and there was an exploit coming out every week. So the forums are basically getting ravaged by people coming in and posting, or it wasn't really people, it's spam bots or whatever. So I took them down for a while, and then I put up some sort of stopgap solution, and it was kind of garbagey. So I've relaunched the VG Podcast forums, and would love it for you listeners to come in and check it out, hang out, chat with us. Maybe Edgar will actually log into this one. I'm gonna shame him publicly on this podcast because he never logged into the last forums, and he's one of the hosts here, so that's kind of important. So
did it?
So everybody, if you log into the forums and you don't see Edgar having an actual account that's posting, send him hate mail through Twitter.
Yeah, if you do it on Twitter, I'll more likely see it than email. And it's Edgar. It's Nerdblurb Edgar at Twitter.
But yeah, so I launched that, and we're doing some other things as well. New Coda is coming back from the dead a little bit, getting some news posts there. That's going to kind of be where the long form written reviews are going to be. Putting a lot of stuff up on YouTube, getting ready to do some actual video podcasts that you can subscribe to, watch on your Apple TV, on your iPad, on your Logitech Review, if you have one of those awful pieces of equipment. Oh wait, Edgar has one of those, so I should not badmouth it. So yeah, we're making some huge changes, so that's been a lot of fun too. I'm waiting for the new Macs to come out because I need a new iMac. Other than that, I'm getting new mics, new mic stands, new equipment, new lights, new mixers, new everything. Trying to really bring everything back up into kind of the current technology that people are using online. So hopefully that'll be a good thing for a lot of people out there. You'll enjoy the new shows that we're putting out.
Nice.
So yeah, but I guess this is a as good a time as any to take a little break. Let's talk a little bit about GoToMeeting with HD Faces, a great product by Citrix. If you're working from colleagues from home or traveling for business, getting everyone together on the same page for a meeting can be an impossible task. But I have the solution for you, and that is GoToMeeting with HD Faces. With this product, your team can meet face to face while online, no matter where they are in the world, and it takes only seconds. GoToMeeting by Citrix allows you to collaborate on files and plans online. You can edit graphics, edit web pages, do whatever you're doing, collaborating on, or just meeting on. You can do it online. And with the addition of HD Faces, you just need a webcam to turn your online meetings into a group HD video conference. So now you can even participate on the go because GoToMeeting has a iPad app that you can simply download for free from the from the Apple App Store, and you'll be basically joining a meeting in seconds. And it's really great because the camera on your iPad will then allow you to bring your face into these meetings as well. Seeing someone's face really changes meetings. If you've ever had phone meetings, you're sitting there and you don't know what's happening on the other side. Like Edgar's sleeping, he's drooling, he's eating, putting the phone on mute. That stuff happens. With HD Faces. You can actually see face to face and eye to eye with the people you're meeting on the other end. It's really cool. I love GoToMeeting. I use them a lot. I use a lot of the other. Unfortunately, I have to use a lot of the other meeting providers because some of the vendors I use at work, and they're horrible. I dread the days that I have to actually come in and do that because the software is buggy, it crashes. I've never had a problem with GoToMeeting, and I urge you to check it out yourself. So start hosting your own face-to-face online meetings today with GoToMeeting, and my listeners can try it free for 30 days. But don't wait. The special offer is on now. Just visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button, and use the promo code podcast. That's GoToMeeting.com. Click the Try It Free button and use the promo code podcast, and you can see it all the way down at the bottom of the screen for those people watching video as well. So thanks to Citrix and GoToMeeting for the support of the show.
Cool.
All right, man. Well, what do you say we get into the news? There's actually a lot of news. We've been kind of lamenting the fact that it's like pre-E3 and things are getting clamped down and silenced. But Nintendo is actually doing some stuff. It's kind of good to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So today, Nintendo released an update to the 3DS firmware. It adds a lot of different functionalities to your system. One of them is folders. What do you think of folders, Edgar?
Here's the thing is and then have you downloaded the firmware yet?
Yeah, I've downloaded and installed it.
It just went live a few hours ago, right?
Yeah, it just came out. It's supposed to launch tomorrow, but I guess they launched it a little bit early because of time zones or whatever. So I installed it at about 9:30 my time. It's now 11:30. So yeah, a couple hours ago it came out, and it was a really long download. Usually the firmware updates for 3DS are like a couple seconds. This took a good 10 minutes to download and install, which was a little bit different.
Okay.
But yeah, it adds folders. So you know how the icon screen, you can use different sizes to fit more icons on one screen. But even then, it was getting kind of clunky, especially for people that are the ambassadors, because you have your 10 NES games, you have your 10 Game Boy Advance games, you have all the other stuff on it, and it was just hard to fit in one screen. So Nintendo added the ability to put icons into folders, similar to like your iOS if you have an iPhone or iPad or iPod Touch. To do it, you basically touch an empty square, and at the bottom of the screen there's going to be a new button that says create a folder. You do that, and then it creates a little folder. and you can name them, but on the actual folder, it'll only show one character. So if you name it Edgar's Cool Apps, it will just have an E on the folder, which is a problem because I have a folder for Game Boy games and a folder for Game Boy Advance games, and they both have a G on it. So it's like, that's kind of lame.
Yeah, so you basically have to name it Advance,
Exactly.
or and change it up a little bit so you actually know, which is such an odd limitation.
It is. Like if you click on the folder, it gives you the folder name, but if you click on the folder, you also see the icon. So that kind of defeats. I mean, it's obvious. It doesn't matter what the name is. You can just name them with one character because by the time you click on it, you know what's in that folder. But I mean, it's your 3DS. You're probably going to know what you're putting in every folders, but it's giving it to friends or whatever. They might not know what those actual folders, little blue folders, mean that have weird characters on them.
Yeah, and it's available from what I understand in all different regions.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see that each folder could store up to 60 apps?
Yeah. By default, it has the largest icon size, but you can actually scale that down to the smallest as well, and you can drop like 60 apps in each folder. So you can pretty much download everything from the eShop and store it in one folder, and it'll be good there.
Exactly.
All right. Sorry, I was just taking a drink of water. Another big change was a new eShop. So Nintendo's revamped the eShop. I'll see if I can start it up here while we're talking. So if you've ever tried to go into the eShop and download stuff, it's a little bit cumbersome. Like there was one row of icons across the screen, and if you wanted to download something new, you sometimes had to scroll to the left, but then other times you have to scroll to the right. They were trying to keep it new and fresh, kind of like iTunes, where they have different categories and things like that. But it never really worked. So what they've done is they've really changed it. Unfortunately, I have too much light on now, so you probably can't even see it on the video now. Oh, there you go. So now there's two rows. The bottom row is sort of, I guess, things that are that are more general. So bestsellers, virtual console applications, top rated by you, and 3D games or 3DS games that are at retail. So you have 5 little icons you can scroll between. And then at the top, it's very similar to how it was before, but they're changing things. So sometimes there's bigger icons, sometimes there's smaller icons, and they're doing something new where they're having featured. They're called Pro Picks. So let's see if I can show that to you. I have 3D on, so that's not going to work. But you can kind of see it on the video right now. Pro Picks. So they get someone to actually pick a bunch of games. So they have Jules watch them from Renegade Kid. He's the guy that did Mutant Mudds. So if you click on that, or if you tap it or whatever, it basically shows all the games that he really likes. So of course Mutant Mudds is first, but then you have Shantae's Risky Revenge and Pushmo and Gargoyle's Quest and Dark Void Zero, and it's basically just a collection of games that he really likes. So it looks like Nintendo's going to be changing this up every once in a while. So you'll have favorite games from maybe game developers and maybe celebrities and things like that. So that's kind of a neat little feature that they've added. Other than that, this patch has basically given everybody that is a Nintendo developer the ability to patch your applications. So Nintendo announced that the first patch coming out is going to be for Mario Kart 7 because there's a couple shortcut glitches where you can basically do a lap in like 20 seconds because you just jump off a certain point and you get sucked through the map to the other side. So Mario Kart...
Isn't that part of the fun?
That is part of the fun. Can you remember like the first Rainbow Road where you jump off?
Oh yeah, you would jump off a particular point. That it was skill and luck all in one.
Exactly. So they're going to be patching that out. Nintendo announced that the first patch is for Mario Kart 7, and it's going to be available in May. So that'll be coming out. But there's also some other developers that have been talking about it. In the latest Nintendo Power, the Cave Story developers and the Mighty Switch Force developers are saying that there's going to be updates for their applications coming out in the near future as well. For example, Mighty Switch Force is going to be giving you more levels. It's going to really redo the 3D effect, and it's going to add in a quick retry button. So a lot of people complained that it was too hard to restart a level if you screwed up. So the developers listened, and now they actually have the ability to get in there and patch it. Cave Story, they're going to be adding a whole bunch of different things to it. More 3D effects when it's running on the 3DS, widescreen presentation, and some other things as well. So DSiWare version, and they're going to be updating it for the 3DS and putting it into 3DSware. So I guess if you own a 3DS, they'll just update the app that you have. It basically gives a lot of future functionality to developers where they can add things. I really hope that allows, like, say, I don't know, Kid Icarus to add an actual dual stick mode, and come out with it as a game update, because that would be really cool if they could do something like that.
Mhm.
So other than the 3DS firmware, Nintendo had another one of their Nintendo Direct meetings, presentations, whatever you want to call it. This one was weird because it was only available in Japan and Europe. They didn't do one in North America. They didn't do anything special. They just had a translated one, I believe, in Europe from the Japanese one. But some huge, like, crazy announcements came out of it, and this is like pre-E3 announcements, which kind of blew me away. The first one being the announcement that New Super Mario Bros. 2 is going to be coming out this year on the 3DS. And when they said this year, they didn't mean like November, December, and maybe like in January of next year, kind of slipping the dates. It's coming out in August, which is months away. And this is like a game that no one really knew about. They assumed that it was in production, but it's like, yep, by the way, new Mario coming out, and it's coming out in 2 months. There you go. Or
Which is nuts.
4 months or whatever.
They like a game like this will usually get shown off, maybe a trailer shown, like a teaser trailer, and then you'll have to wait like a year in advance to play it. Like it doesn't. Nintendo very rarely announces a game,
and ships it in 4 months.
Yeah. Like, it just seems like they have all their developers on overdrive. Like, all their programmers are on like, all right, we just gotta ship these out. We got to keep this. We got to keep this train going,
which is definitely needed with how you look at where kind of the industry is moving. Like, the Vita is not selling, 3DS is selling well. Games are selling okay, but you see that a lot of people that are handheld gamers are doing it on iOS now. So Nintendo really has to start iterating and coming out with things faster, and I think they see that, which is awesome, because it's always a worry that they're just going to put their head in the sand and forget that anything like this ever existed.
Yeah, exactly.
So
what do you think it's ready for prime time? You think if they're releasing it in August, you think think it's ready?
I think so. Did you look at any of the screens or anything like that?
Screens look awesome.
They look really high res. They look really good. You can see that there's obviously you're not looking at them in 3D, but you can see where the 3D effects would be in the screenshot. It looks like in one shot Mario has a Tanuki tail, the other one he's gold, so maybe there's like metal Mario from Super Mario 64 somehow is coming into it. It looks like there's some stages from Super Mario World, kind of those levels with like the caterpillars and spiders and things like that. So it looks like this is going to be a really nice version. My kids are addicted to New Super Mario Brothers. They each have their own DS, and that is the only game on their DS that they want to play. It's essentially a Mario machine. That's all they ever want to play. When I told my son Nick, who turned 6, that this was coming on the 3DS, he's like, oh, really? Is it on the DS? And I'm like, yeah, well, it's on the 3DS. He's like, oh, well, I guess I can watch you play it on yours. And he was like all dejected and sad. And I'm like, no, don't worry. You can play it on mine. We'll just turn the 3D off and you'll have fun playing it. But now I think he's going to expect me to buy him a 3DS because
it kind of sounds like it.
That's his game. But
I am so excited about a 2D side-scrolling game in 3D.
It's going to be awesome. I mean, that's what I wanted out of the 3DS. I didn't want like Mega Man Adventures kind of 3D adventure games. Yeah. I want 2D side-scrolling Nintendo fun, and it looks like that is what this is going to be. So I'm super stoked.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Also announced, there's a whole bunch of announcements, but the next big thing was Kirby 20th Anniversary Edition has been announced, and it is going to be coming to the Wii sometime this year. It's going to be a Wii disc that contains a collection of old Kirby games. So if you haven't rebought like all your SNES and NES versions of Kirby and Game Boy on the 3DS and all that stuff, you can probably get a whole huge collection of them on the Wii in the near future. It's probably going to be a special edition, kind of like the Mario one, where there's some extra art and other things like that. But it seems kind of nice that they're doing something for Kirby, although they did miss Zelda. They didn't really do anything special for Zelda other than have a concert. I'd much rather have a disc that I could buy.
Well, they didn't have the full-on disc, but you got the, I guess that just came with the game.
We got Four Swords Adventure for free, and the soundtrack if you bought the 3DS game. But yeah, they didn't do like a 20th anniversary big release that had like a bunch of games on disc or anything like that.
No, because then they would figure out that the timelines don't work, and then you have to suspend reality. They don't want to put all the games on one console because then some dude's just going to play them all and try to figure out the timeline. It's not going to work.
That's true. That's true. Also announced in Japan is that there's going to be a Pokédex 3D update coming, and also a Pokemon AR game. But these are apparently not free. Some people have translated some of the Japanese press release stuff that was announced or released, I guess. And the Pokédex 3D is going to be a full update to the Pokédex, replacing the one that's currently on your 3DS if you buy it. And apparently it's going to have every single Pokemon ever is going to be in this one. So you'll be able to get from Pokemon Red and Blue all the way up to Black and White 2. Every single Pokemon that's ever existed will be available in here. But it looks like if the translation was correct, this is going to be like an $18 download in Japan. It's like, what? This was free and it only had a subset, 300 Pokemon or whatever. But I don't want to pay $18 to look at more virtual representations of these characters in 3D. It seems kind of odd. And there's going to be a Pokemon AR game, which is going to be kind of like a hold your 3DS up and move around and shoot things kind of thing. And that's, if the translation again is correct and it makes its way over here to North America, that's about a $2 game. So that seems more in line with what people will actually pay for downloadable content. In Japan, they also announced that Animal Crossing will be coming out in the fall. No North American dates were released, but there's been a whole swath of screenshots released. They've been basically saying that you can customize all aspects of your character now, all the way down to the shoes. So they're really like taking, going to the store and buying a shirt to the next level, shirt, pants, shoes, hats, whatever. It looks like there's a bunch of other people and locations in the city as well. So when Animal Crossing finally hits the 3DS, it looks like it's going to be a pretty killer title. I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with that one. And this isn't huge news by any stretch, but Nintendo also sent out a note that there was a new puzzle piece waiting for you when you went into the puzzle mode, and they actually gave you a puzzle piece for Mario Tennis Open, which is going to be coming out on May 20th. So they're doing a lot of promotion now for their games that are coming out. They're not just shipping it to stores and expecting people to go buy it because, hey, we're Nintendo, people buy our games. They're actually doing some promotion in store, of course, in magazines, online, on TV, but they're also doing it on the console where people are going to be playing the product, which I think is a really smart move. I mean, it gets people interested. This is kind of what we
expected. Like, shouldn't there have been from the beginning? I mean, obviously we had several puzzle pieces and then nothing for months until we got an update. And shouldn't we expect this? Shouldn't we expect this nice little trickle of, oh, here, we're releasing a game in the next month. Here's another puzzle piece collection to complete. You know?
Sure, we would expect that if it wasn't Nintendo, because they've been online. What's that? Let's put our head in the sand and forget that it ever existed. So it seems nice that they're finally kind of adapting and adopting online as a way to promote their product. Like, why wouldn't you tell the people that are already on your console that you're releasing another game that they're probably going to buy, instead of hoping that they see an ad on television where more and more people are skipping commercials because they're DVRing everything. I mean, a lot of more traditional ways to advertise to people are kind of going away. Like, there's no game magazines in stores anymore. There's no magazines in stores anymore. People have their own forums online that they go to chat. They maybe don't browse around as much as they used to. So things have changed a lot. So Nintendo really has to take advantage of the captive audiences they have that are basically playing their console every day.
Sure.
So it's a good thing. So yeah, Nintendo Direct seems more interesting than I thought it was when they did their first one. I hope they keep doing it. It just seems weird because this one's so close to E3 and they announced a lot of really big things. So I wonder what E3 is going to bring. I think maybe E3 might be Wii U Arama and that's it. We're going to talk about Wii U all day, every day, and not really focus on anything else because this is all 3DS stuff that they were talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but again, they did say that we're going to know a lot about the Wii U right before E3.
That's true. That's true. So maybe that'll be coming out the next one.
We'll keep our ears perked out. Yeah, maybe this last this knowledge vomit was all 3DS, but I think we'll see something pretty soon about the Wii U. And you have a nice little boomer about the development kits.
Yeah. So I hate doing this, but we're really short on news. Like there really isn't much coming out. So there's been
Well,
more.
especially with the Wii U, especially with the Wii.
Exactly. There's been another developer who apparently has access to a development kit that is basically leaking some information. So this is development kit version 4. So this is a newer version than what some of the other leaks have been. There are several features that were shown off at E3 2011, so last year's E3, that are still not and are not they weren't and they are not still available to developers. So there's things that the development team can't do yet, even though they have like a really almost production ready version of the development kit and the SDK. Some of those features are linked to the camera, so things like facial recognition and the ability to shoot movies with the little tablet. They still don't have access to any of that, so they don't know how it's working. They can see the documentation about it, but they can't do anything with it. So I don't think there's going to be many launch titles that are going to be tracking your face, which some people were talking about as one of the huge features. Like you have this thing that is like a Kinect possibly, because it can track your face and it's so close to you. Maybe games that come out at launch aren't going to be like that. The possibility to track your head and eyes, that isn't available as well. So not only your face, but where you're looking and where your head is leaning. They can't do that yet. But they are saying that there is some functionality that's coming up right now. The ability to capture footage of you and insert it into the game and take a video and store it in the system. So it looks like maybe coming with the system, there'll be some sort of video capture / editing functionality, which is kind of neat. And apparently there's talk about video calls. There really is no more information other than there's a video call option. So whether that's going to be using Skype or something integrated to the Nintendo network, they don't really know. These development kits that they're using were not available until about February this year. So this is almost production, a production unit. But yeah, it's coming to the developers really late as well. So if they're ramping up to like say a July or August release of the Wii U, they don't really have much time to implement some of the newer features, especially since a lot of them just aren't working yet.
Yeah, and this is pretty much what we've seen all along. I mean, and granted, they're rumors, but they're not surprising, and they pretty much confirm what we've known so far.
Exactly.
And what bothers me is just like the sheer vagueness of these features.
There's a video chat thing and a facial recognition stuff, but we can't do anything with it yet, so like, I can't tell you about it.
Go ahead.
I was saying we don't have access to it, so we can't talk about it. How convenient is that? I don't know if I believe these rumors, but I mean that's really all we have to go on. I sat down the other day and tried to kind of piece together through all the rumors what the Wii U is going to look like. And it's going to be like this crazy Frankenstein because every single leak has been so totally different from every other one. So I would say that 99% of them are all garbage, and there's maybe 1% of truth that has come out over the last 6 months.
Yeah. What we do know is Crytek, the makers, development house of Crysis, is not going to develop Crysis 3 for the Wii.
Boo.
Now, granted, I think Crysis has always been more of a PC platforming game. It's from what I remember back in the day when I used to do gaming on the PC, it was an extremely power-hungry piece of software that you could throw whatever you want to, and you still wouldn't be able to run Crysis well.
But Crysis 2 was
I'm sorry?
Crysis 2 was out on the 360 and the PS3, I believe. So it has come on consoles before.
Yes, yeah, but originally it was on PCs, and it was a very hard. It was actually like Crysis came out I think actually a couple years before it came on the console. The first Crysis.
Yeah, I believe so.
So really difficult stuff, and the developer said basically not a fat chance. We don't think it's possible or going to be possible. It's just not in the cards. Now that's not to say that there's technical shortcomings or that they don't want to port it to another system. They just didn't elaborate, but just don't expect it on the console, which is a little scary. Hopefully it's not for technical limitations. Hopefully it's the fact that they just don't want to port it over to the Wii U. Yeah. But what people have said is that the Wii U is actually pretty simple to work with.
Yeah,
We
they've said that
anything that's easy to work with.
it's essentially a Wii that has access to a bunch of new functionality. So if you've ever developed Wii software, you're right at home developing for the Wii U. Maybe Crytek themselves never actually worked on the Wii, so they don't want to spend all the time developing something on beta hardware. They want to wait till the actual production stuff comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting. Like I said, I wish there was more to report on the Wii U. Hopefully, as you said, Edgar, Nintendo actually releases a press conference before E3, like they said they would, because I'm salivating. I want to know what the Wii U is going to be all about, if it's even going to be called the Wii U. I took the week of E3 off again, so I'm going to be basically bathing myself in everything E3, and hopefully recording a bunch of shows and putting stuff up, and hopefully getting a bunch of people on to talk in some group chats. So hopefully I can have you on one evening since you'll be there.
Sure.
And I just want to know what the system's about. I'm really quite excited to hear more about it. I don't know if I'm excited about the console yet, but I'm excited in hearing about it.
Cool.
All right. Well, that about does it for the news in this episode. I'm going to link a couple YouTube videos that I found at the end in the show notes. So definitely go check them out. There's a really great Kid Icarus techniques video that Nintendo put out, basically talking about different things to maximize your gameplay, both in the single player and multiplayer, including one multiplayer trick that you see everybody doing now, and it's kind of breaking the game. But yeah. I don't know if it's breaking the game, but it's making things a little bit more difficult. So check that one out. And also, the first footage of Epic Mickey Power Evolution has been shown off. There's a video that was put up in Nintendo Europe. So it has Warren Spector basically walking you through kind of part of the game and talking a little bit about it. So if you're at all interested in Epic Mickey Power Evolution, you definitely want to check this one out. I did, even though it's only in 480p, I was zooming in to see some of the details, and it looks gorgeous. It looks like we might have two amazing 2D platformers that have 3D elements to it in like later this year. Super Mario Brothers 2, New Super Mario Brothers 2 rather, and Epic Mickey Power Illusion. So if you're interested in that game, definitely check out that video linked in the show notes.
Cool.
All right, well, that's going to about do it for this episode. Thanks for joining me again, Edgar.
Sure.
And everybody, head on over to vgpodcast.com, register in the forums, and get chatting. Email us, vgpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call our voicemail line, which is area code 505-VG-PODCAST. We want to hear from you. And remember to publicly shame Edgar if he doesn't sign up and start posting in the forum. All right, Edgar.
Goes well, by the way.
All right, thanks, man. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Later.